Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of general medicine where I'm going to make a difficult, boring topic easy and interesting to learn in under 10 to 15 minutes. And for that, I shall be referring to this resource known as the Mind Maps book for general medicine by MedStudyGo. This book is special because this does not contain any boring bookish text. It contains every topic under prescribed headings, which makes it very easy to learn the topic like a story form. So you can just go around all the headings in a circular manner, start from one end and go up till the other end to finish the topic in just these 2 pages. You can get this book for yourself from any e-commerce platform like Amazon, Dentalcart, Flipkart, or the app of MedStudyGo. So let's get into the lecture for today, which is herpes zoster infection. So what is herpes zoster infection and which type of infection is it? What is the causative organism? These are some basic questions which we need to answer while we're starting off a question to reply. So to introduce the topic, herpes zoster infection is a viral infection which is caused by the reactivation of the Varicella Zoster virus. So Varicella Zoster virus is the causative organism over here, and its reactivation is leading to the herpes zoster infection, which initially causes chickenpox and stays dormant in the nerves until reactivation. So basically there are 3 stages to this infection. First, it is primary infection, which is the chickenpox. Second is a latent stage, wherein it stays in the sensory root ganglion. And third is the reactivation, which is the herpes zoster infection. So there are 3 stages of this infection. It is commonly known as shingles, which is the herpes zoster infection is known as shingles. So the mode of transmission is airborne or because of direct contact. The 3 stages of the herpes zoster infection, which is the symptomatic stage or the prodromal stage, and other stages include prodromal, active, and the postherpetic stage. So prodromal stage is when there is fever, pain, itching, and tingling, which appears before the rash. So herpes zoster infection is characterized by a rash which appears at 17 to 14 days. So active stage is when the rash appears and the blister appear, which usually cover a single dermatome and do not cross the midline. It is unilateral in distribution. Lastly, there can be postherpetic neuralgia, wherein persistent pain is present, which is often very severe in intensity. So these are the stages of the herpes zoster infection. Now, how is it happening? How is infection becoming latent and getting reactivated? That forms a part of the pathophysiology for this disease. So what happens is that first time the Varicella Zoster virus enters the body of the patient and replicates in the tonsils and the respiratory tract, because maybe it is airborne intaken into the body. Here it goes and spreads into the bloodstream and causes primary viremia, which is the chickenpox. So via the bloodstream and lymphatics, the virus gets delivered to liver and spleen and all the other organs, which leads to secondary viremia, wherein all these organs can get infected and inflammation can happen primarily, which is the chickenpox. Now what happens is this virus cannot be eradicated completely. It becomes as a latent infection in the trigeminal dorsal root ganglia, which is the sensory root ganglia. It becomes latent for many years. Now, when the age increases, patient becomes old, or the immune system decreases, aging present, stress is present, or immunotherapy is going on for some other disease where the immunity decreases for the patient, reactivation of this virus happens. This reactivation leads to the creation of vesiculopustular rash, because the virus travels along the nerve which it is affecting, which is the sensory nerve it's affecting, and it goes on affecting whole of the skin above that nerve and leads to the formation of the rash, which develops and spreads along the dermatomal distribution. Wherever the nerve is going to supply, the rash is going to be present. So this is how the pathophysiology of reactivation happens and the herpes zoster infection occurs. So what are the clinical features which are going to be present? In the first stage, which is the starting stage before the rash, there is going to be pain, burning sensation, and even tingling. This is all before the rash. When the rash appears, it can affect the nerve, which is 5th nerve is mostly affected, trigeminal, due to which it can affect the eye and the ear. So herpes zoster ophthalmicus or herpes zoster oticus can occur, along with swollen lymph nodes, pruritus, which is itching, fever and headache, which are all infection signs. So the rash, it starts as a red, itchy and painful rash on the skin, which is within 1 to 3 days, it develops cluster of small fluid-filled blisters. So there are going to be many fluid-filled blisters which form the whole part of the rash. It is not just a simple plain rash. It is going to be vesicular, pustular. Pustules are going to be there, which are going to be filled with the fluid. The blister eventually crust and they form a scab within 1 to 3 weeks. So this is how the clinical features, they persist and they go along the disease as the disease spreads. After we know the clinical features, we need to know how to investigate the patient to come to a confirmatory diagnosis. For that, the first is going to be detailed history and examination, because the patient will give you a positive history for chickenpox. Secondly, you are going to do PCR test to amplify the DNA of the virus and visualize what actually is happening and how much viral load is present in the body. Then you can do Tzanck Smear test, wherein multinucleated giant cells are present which engulf the virus cells. Serology tests are done to visualize the antibodies against the virus, which is IgM and IgG antibody present. Lastly, imaging can be used like CT and MRI, because it can eventually involve organs like respiratory system or the nervous system. So these imaging tests can be used to visualize those organ systems. Now, once we know the confirmatory diagnosis, we treat the patient for the disease. And for that, the first is to give cool baths so that the patient can be relieved of the pain and the itching. Calamine lotion is also given to reduce the itching. Antipyretics and analgesics are given for supportive therapy. If fever is present, we give antipyretics. If pain is present, we give analgesics. And aspirin is avoided in children to prevent the Ray's syndrome, which is a normal complication. Lastly, antivirals are recommended like acyclovir and valacyclovir, which help in decreasing the viral load of the infection. So this is how you can treat the infection of herpes zoster. If not treated adequately and timely, it will of course involve other organs because of the inflammation and infection, which is going to be ongoing in nature. It can lead to myocarditis, cellulitis, pneumonia, hepatitis and meningitis, which is basically inflammation of all other organ systems. Other than this, there can be postherpetic neuralgia, which we studied is the third stage of this disease, and it can lead to severe pain. So this is how you can easily wrap up the topic of herpes zoster in under 2 mind map pages itself. Now, one more thing which you need to know from the point of NEET preparation is that certain points can be studied specifically for NEET, which have been asked already in the exam. For that, I shall recommend you to read the Beyond the Mind Map notes on the app of MedStudyGo. Why is it different? Because it is going to contain some points which are direct pointers for questions which have already been asked and have a high probability of being asked again. For example, what is the life cycle of Varicella Zoster virus in one line if you want to understand? That the primary disease is chickenpox. It becomes latent in the sensory ganglia for years and then it gets reactivated to cause shingles. So a neat pointer for you over here is that zoster is reactivation of Varicella Zoster virus, whose primary infection is chickenpox, and the virus stays latent in the dorsal root ganglia. So this is how you can learn direct pointers, which are actually questions, significant questions in the NEET exam. And if you have just read any topic, I would tell you to solve some questions right there and then via the app of MedStudyGo. For example, solving MCQs or flashcards. Solving flashcards is going to help you in the Viva questions of any university exam. And solving MCQs is going to give you actual practice of how the NEET exam works. For example, what is postherpetic neuralgia? If you solve this flashcard, just flip it over. You can view the answer very easily. That it is persistent pain after the healing of lesions, which is the third stage of herpes zoster infection. If you solve an MCQ, herpes zoster represents reactivation of the virus, which primarily causes what? So primarily it causes chickenpox. If you flip it over, you can visualize the answer along with a detailed explanation as to which option is an answer and why the other options have been rejected for the answer. So this is how you can solve the questions, and the app I'm talking about is this one by MedStudyGo. It is available for iOS as well as Android users. You can just download it, visualize the mind maps which I taught you from just right now, even in a digital form, and you can create your notes right over there. Create flashcards, solve some MCQs, and wrap up your topic in under 15-20 minutes. If you like this video and would want to watch more such videos for medicine and other subjects, do subscribe this channel of MedStudyGo, like this video while you're at it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.